welcome to Our World Now News Network. I'm your host for this episode, Emperor Metadesigner the First, though others call me Metadesigner. In today's video expose, we'll be covering the history of Our World Now from 2012 to 2014. I served as regular member in 2012, rising up to the group moderator position in 2012 to 2013, and finally achieving group officer in late 2013 to 2014. With those details out of the way, let's proceed. Chapter 1. Creation of Our World Now and Bringing O.W.n to Life. Lone Wolf HBS created Our World Now in approximately 2012 with his SFM series Cult of Personality, which would foretell a tale of a medic and a femme scout on Red who had a romance, then were forced to go their separate ways due to outside forces. In the first episode alone, we saw Red and Blue team cooperation, which wasn't seen outside of SFM. This itself was groundbreaking. It wasn't until the second episode that the medic created Our World Now. It was then that people understood that O.W.n would be the technical fourth faction in TF2, counting the MVM faction. Following the waves of immense popularity, Lone Wolf HBS would create the Our World Now and O.W.n Resistance Steam groups. Both would be fan groups for the Cult of Personality series. Chapter 2. O.W.n Presence in TF2 and the Road Ahead. As the Cult of Personality series took off, the TF2 community began to see more O.W.n tags appearing in their servers. This began to bring positive and negative responses. On the positive side, it gave community server hosts the confidence that their servers were popular enough to be considered for O.W.n's primordial raids, which were more so recruitment drives. The negatives, however, began to show in late 2012 to early 2013, increasing greatly by 2014. Many groups and users seeking to hop on the newfound success of Our World Now began to create spoofs, squads, and little social cliques to gain power and popularity. Some groups and communities found themselves intertwined with O.W.n just by coincidence, which is what happened regarding the DIR, the Das Internet Reich. This community of shitposters, trollers, Nazi fanatics, and World War II lovers somehow found their way to Our World Now. Many of these groups, shared communities, and users would go unnoticed by the staff of Our World Now. This would grow to be their eventual downfall. Chapter 3. Chaos. During the waning hours of Our World Now, the situation had worsened in mid to late 2013 to 2014. These social cliques and shared communities, such as the DIR, had grown increasingly restless. The positives of Our World Now had soon melted away from the seeds of toxicity which clung to the group and spread. Many of the administrators of Our World Now were tasked less and less with hosting raids and events, and more to riot control and diffusing toxic situations. The group was developing cracks. The social cliques were becoming less loyal to O.W.n and their administration, yet they still would hold the banner of O.W.n, some even considering themselves the new O.W.n. The administration itself was suffering. As the staff became divided and in an uncalled for action, some called for the end of the fan group and into the transition of a more clan-type environment, as a form of combating all the toxicity which was becoming increasingly unstable until one fateful day in late 2013 to early 2014. Chapter 4. The O.W.n DIR Conflict. All I remember about the rise of the conflict was how quiet it was. It was a normal day for almost everyone, just trying to curb the toxicity on a he said, she said basis, until two users, one from O.W.n and one from the DIR, had gotten into a fight. A mod from O.W.n and a mod from the DIR came to defuse the situation, but by some curse the mods began to take sides and argue. This vile disagreement couldn't be diffused and eventually grown into a vile conflict between Steam groups. The DIR members became understood to be BOS, banned on site, and vice versa in the DIR. The conflict engulfed the two communities, leading to a huge ground war on community servers. The involvement of Valve in the conflict would be increasingly seen. Valve would have a blast eliminating all the O.W.n members who were involved with the conflict for death threats, whilst nailing the DIR members for the display of the swastika and Nazi paraphernalia. The Fuhrer of the DIR loathed O.W.n and swore to bring the group down at all costs. Eventually, the Fuhrer got what he wanted. Lone Wolf, along with the stress of the Cult of Personality series on his back and the development of toxicity in the Steam community groups, eventually disbanded O.W.n, effectively ending in a DIR victory, though many were banned via VAC or community ban. Chapter 5. The Aftermath. As the dust cleared over the TF2 community, O.W.n was missing, leaving many members who were asleep or didn't know to frantically gather and create their own groups, or join the already existing groups such as NUK, Pyro's own, the Imperium, or the group that had gotten the most attention, Group 935. The group itself was made by a former group officer who foresaw the fall of O.W.n and quickly retreated to ensure that he retained most of the contacts. The staff member was none other than O.W.n Metadesigner. As the years went on, many of these O.W.n splinter groups died to inactivity, seeing no return of Our World Now recent, and most importantly, the Cult to Personality SFM series. Chapter 6. Resurrection and Rebirth. In 2017, Group 935 was disbanded by O.W.n Metadesigner, as he saw no use for it. In an ironic twist of fate, like a phantom of the past, he was contacted by several members of an Our World Now splinter group. They had recognized him and called him out to help restore Our World Now. Reluctantly, Metadesigner agreed. Eventually, the project had an effective running name, Our World Now, The Rebirth. A provisional council of Metadesigner and several other members who had helped call him out was created. Chapter 7. The Dark Side is Coming. Metadesigner worked tirelessly to restore his former community, working with other old members, whom Metadesigner nicknamed the Old Guard, had by summer 2017 restored the mantle of Our World Now by gathering up most of the Our World Now splinter groups. In late July to early August, the Rebirth had set up the working idea that they would be an organization, to prevent the toxicity that plagued Our World Now in 2012 to 2014 by being a fan group. This was the new Rebirth, with a new functioning and working military branch system, with rank tables for all the different branches and different jobs expected for all members who would enlist in the military. The highest level of customization and player interaction ever seen to date. The darkness had loomed in the Provisional Council. It was eventually found out that Rebirth Intelligence had picked up a bit of information that was troubling, that one of the council members was trying to seek power for himself. Metadesigner acted quickly to preserve the group and leadership and had executed 2 orders. These orders would be known as Order 5 and Order 9. Metadesigner was then swiftly able to take control, making a speech to the 500-player group that he would be the leader of Our World Now The Rebirth. With this action, and realizing the danger that was just avoided, Metadesigner was soon heralded as the new Lone Wolf, the new medic, and eventually was voted on by the group to take on the title of Emperor. This was the entire history of Our World Now, including the history of Our World Now The Rebirth. We hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a comment or question below. If you love Our World Now and want to help us prosper under this new era, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get future updates on merchandising, TF2 mod development, SFM content, and exclusive content. Thank you for watching. This publication was brought to you by Our World Now News Network. Thank you for watching.